Hello everybody, welcome back to Gyandan. Today we're going to be looking at 100 things every designer needs to know about people. Suzanne M. Wednesday. How people think. Chapter 32. People interact with conceptual models. To understand why mental models are so important to design, you also have to understand what a conceptual model is and how it differs from a mental model. A mental model is the representation that a person has in his mind about the object he is interacting with. A conceptual model is the actual model that is given to the person through design and interface of the actual product. Going back to the iPad ebook example, you have mental model of what reading a book will be like in the iPad, how it will work, and what you can do with it. But when you sit down with the iPad, the system, the iPad, displays what the conceptual model of the book app actually is. There will be screens and buttons and things that happen. The actual interface is the conceptual model. Someone designed an interface, and that interface is communicating to you the conceptual model of the product. At this point, you might be asking, so why should I care about this mental model, conceptual model idea? Here's why you should care. If there is a mismatch between the person's mental model and the product's conceptual model, then the product or website will be hard to learn, hard to use, and not accepted. How do mismatches occur? Here are some examples. The designers thought they knew who would be using the interface and how much experience they had with interfaces like this, and they designed accordingly to those assumptions without testing them. And it turns out their assumptions were wrong. The audience or the product or website is varied. The designers designed for one persona or type of audience, and mental model and conceptual model match for the group, but not for others. There are no real designers. The conceptual model wasn't really designed at all. It's just a reflection of the underlying hardware or software database, so the only people whose mental model it fits are the programmers. If the audience is not the programmers, then you're in trouble. What if it's a brand new and I purposely want a mismatch? What about the idea that people who have only read real physics books will not have an accurate mental model of reading books on iPad? In this case, you know that people will not have an accurate mental model that fits. You want to change their mental model. Sometimes you know that the mental model of target audience will not fit conceptual model, and instead of changing the design of the interface, you want to change people's mental model to match the conceptual model that you have designed. The way to change a mental model is through training. You can use a short training video to change their mental model before the iPad arrives at their door. In fact, one of the best purposes of training on a new product is to adjust the audience mental model to fit the conceptual model of the product. User-centered design and mental and conceptual models. You may be familiar with the term user-centered design, UCD. A UCD process is a set of tasks and activities that interface designers and usability specialists conduct to make sure a website or product is easy to learn and use. In my view, the UCD process is one-sided in that it is primarily about understanding what the user's mental models are, with task analysis, observations, interviews, and so on, or designing a conceptual model to fit the user's mental model, interface design, iterations, validation, testing, and such. Key takeaways: design the conceptual model purposefully. Don't let it bubble up from the technology. The secret to designing an intuitive user experience is making sure that conceptual model of your product matches as much as possible the mental models of your audience. If you get that right, you will have created a positive and useful experience. If you have a brand new product that will not match anyone's mental model, you will need to provide training to prepare people to create new mental models. To be continued. Thank you for watching the video. Like, share, subscribe.